Howdy Tabletop RPG fans, I'm Ranglemy, Grand Poobah of Game Design, and today's topic is RPG Design Style Guide for Game Masters, RPG designers, and artists. What is a style guide? There is another aspect to a design that isn't systems and mechanics. The aesthetic or emotion of a game design includes the art direction, typography, and graphical elements. Those are the things we put in the style guide. Its purpose is so that other creative people who work on the project understand the vision, even if the only other worker is the original creator. We also do this style guide to help us laser focus on our target audience, which affects how we market our games. Indie games like Morkborg, Vastgrim, and Hole are dripping with amazing art direction, awesome character design, incredible typography, creative palettes, and establish a strong visual brand. One only needs to see a copy of these amazing indie RPGs to know that their avant-garde approach sets them apart from other RPGs. One key element that will drive your own artistic choices is the emotional hook or word that you will associate with your game or your whole studio. For me, Hopsbush and all my games are smaller, faster, and funnier. So funny is the key word. Here are examples of brands or images that evoke those emotional words for cute, funny, cool, scary, and weird. Of course, there are many more emotionally impactful words to choose from. As a game designer, ask yourself, what is the emotional aesthetic promise that I'm making to the players of my RPG? Fonts and palettes. Your rules text and the layout guidelines that you use will communicate a lot about the tone of your RPG. Include samples and, if possible, links so that others can adhere to your style guide. Your font choices can be serious, casual, exciting, authentic, or silly. The color palettes that you choose for backgrounds, fonts, graphic elements, characters, environments, and props will evoke different emotions per your vision. I'm a fontophile, and I know thousands of fonts and understand how my font choices affect my designs. I either use Squirrel or Google Fonts to help me pick fonts, because both of those sites only have commercially free fonts. I use two techniques when picking palettes. I pick palettes from lists that I know evoke my emotional aesthetics, or I grab palettes from images of artwork that I think fits my style with a website like the Canva palette generator. Reference art. One of the aspects of design that I feel even big publishers miss is that by pursuing realism, the super realistic art design, you miss the opportunity for communicating your brand. Your art starts to look exactly the same as reality, and therefore the same as every other game that strives for realistic art styles. If your game is ancient, consider using classic tapestries or woodblock art styles. If your game is gothic horror, consider using heavy black and white art with spot color for highlights. If your game is sci-fi, consider rendering your art in 3D like a video game. If your game is epic fantasy, consider moving beyond trading card art styles and into something more stylized and exaggerated like World of Warcraft, or a style inspired by famous fantasy artists. If your game is funny, consider what kind of hundreds of cartoon styles your game will use. I started exploring my genre and various art styles using Pinterest to help create mood boards. I work out character designs and archetype silhouettes. I describe how I want motion poses to be communicating action in my RPGs. I find environments and props that communicate my world vision. I use color and shape language to carry a lot of character and environmental art design. There's a huge number of wonderful graphics and art websites to collect reference art from for your mood boards, Deviant Art and ArtStation, or even just using Pinterest by itself. Pin them to a board, private or public, your choice, and then let the Pinterest algorithms help you find similar art and styles working out exactly what your unique vision is. Graphics. When laying out your RPGs, you'll have certain elements that are graphics, not specifically artwork for characters, props, or environments. These include logos, your company or studio brands and game titles, dings, any custom typography, emoticons, frames, etc., textures, any backgrounds, vignettes, grunge, or distressing that accents your genre and mood? These examples are from my own studio, website, and RPGs. You will notice that I have very specific fonts, backgrounds, textures, iconography, music, and sound effects in all of my YouTube videos as well. Legal issues. Art, graphics, fonts, iconography, and map cartography will all come with a whole slew of intellectual property rights issues. Treading into this realm, any game designer needs to know that here there be dragons. If you are smart, you will make good friends with a legal expert, aka lawyer or attorney, who can provide the services you will need. Those of you indie-minded game designers like myself will have to learn the hard way those lessons as best you can, or have good friends that will remind you when you are being stupid. Every creative item, from artwork, photos, maps, text, is automatically copyrighted by the creator. The creator can register that copyright officially, but doesn't have to. The creator can also treat that creation as a trademark if they use it in commerce. That creator can license their works to others for free or for cash, with the specific limited range of IP rights in that license. The creator can sell exclusive rights to another for work for hire assignment. If you hire a creator as an employee, their employee agreement must include transferring all rights to their creations to the employer as part of their work. Any work that goes out of copyright because the copyright is only viable for a certain amount of time, depending on the country, becomes public domain. It can be very difficult to tell if something is genuinely public domain or still has rights holders. Many permissive licenses require the resulting creation abide by the same liberal licensing terms. In other words, you may not be able to copyright your RPG if you use the wrong clip art or font. I highly suggest that you don't use blind internet searches to find artwork or fonts to use in your RPGs without doing a thorough and exhaustive license search. It is okay to modify old public domain artwork, for instance the Mona Lisa, but you probably don't have permission to modify the character design you licensed or put that same character design on a t-shirt without specific license permissions. An RPG designer or indie publisher can put a copyright or trademark symbol on their intellectual property, but they must pay if they want to register that copyright or trademark with a registered symbol. Many map-making tools have permissive licenses for using their tools, but most map-making assets have very specific licenses that require payment to use those assets. Many RPG designers want to know if they can patent their game mechanics. Generally, the copyright applies to specific text and provides no protection against someone rewriting the rules of your book. The reason why the D20 license, OGL, Fate, Powered by the Apocalypse, Morkborg, or Vastgrim licenses work is because those original systems provide value to third-party creators who want their works to be associated with those original RPGs. As long as you steer well clear of using trademarked IP, like the names of specific floaty eye monsters or certain magic spells, you can make a game that in many ways is very similar, but not quite the original game. I recommend using a license and following the guidelines. Indie creators can't be fighting in court when they should be making new content. Please consider these lessons as helpful tools to help make your RPG designs even better. I will pay for artwork, music, and sound effects as long as it helps me with my studio brand and improves the style of my RPGs. Still, as an indie creator, my resources are extremely limited, so I've developed techniques to do a lot of the work myself. You will get better over time at finding good resources and developing the necessary art skills to accompany your game designs. Enjoy that part of your journey. Thank you all for watching this episode. Hit like, subscribe, or ring the bell, or Booger will get you. If you want to see more videos like this, go to hopspush.com and buy an RPG or t-shirt. Do good, annoy evil, and bye-bye.